Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. Today we are going to start transplanting our young seedlings here into our indoor grow space. Hi everyone, we're indoors. We're doing all kinds of stuff indoors, y'all, and we are filling this grow tent up. So we've already done our overwintering of peppers. We got them in here. I don't know which of these projects is going to show up next, but y'all, we're doing all kinds of fun stuff indoors. We got the hydroponic systems going, and now we're taking care of pots and green stalks. So y'all, I have been growing in this let pot seed starting station now for a while. This is actually the second round of things. Let's turn the light off so you can see it. So this is actually the second round of seedlings that I've started in my let pot seed starting station. And we're going to take some of these seedlings, y'all, and we're going to move them over into our GreenStalk. Now, I got a lot to choose from. I got lettuce over here. I have cabbage. I have collards and tomatoes and many different types of lettuce over here. So we're going to decide which items we're going to move today. And I believe today we are only going to move some collard greens and some tomatoes. That's the plan today. And so let's move on over to the green stalk so you can see where we're going to be working and why I'm choosing to add to the green stalk, what I'm going to add to the green stalk, and the why. So this is the green stalk that we're going to work in today. This is our overwintered pepper green stalk. I didn't look to see if anything's caught up there. I got my lights turned on me so that I didn't have to worry about exposure. But we put these in a week or so ago. And there's a video out there on how I overwinter my peppers. Actually, there's a couple out there now. But in here, there are a couple places like right here and here. And there's another one right here where I had I didn't have any peppers in there. And we're going to use these empty spots to plant some of our young seedlings. And so now I start thinking about, and I try to think about the science of it, right? And sun and light and all that kind of stuff. And just years of experience of growing indoors. And with all of that being said, I am going to put my collard greens in these lower pockets. And I have, I think, at least one up above in this very top tier, which you can't see right now, but the very top tier, I will put the tomatoes up there. So tomatoes are fruiting or flowering plants. And your fruiting and flowering plants, they need a stronger light. It's a different spectrum of light. Every time I've tried to put my tomatoes up high, they've done amazing. So that's why I'm going to go with the tomatoes up high. Now, collard greens down low. Last year, I grew collard greens in a pot all the way on the floor of the indoor grow space, on the floor with just a little fluorescent light over it. And y'all, those were some of the most tender collard greens I've ever had. So that's why I think it'll be okay to put the collard greens down low. Now, we'll see what happens. We'll see. We're going to try to make sure anything and everything grows in here, whether it's a collard green, a tomato, or a pepper. It doesn't matter. We want it to grow. Indoors is more of an experiment for me, y'all. I grow a year's supply of food outdoors. The only reason I grow indoors in the winter, one, is to kind of experiment and play around with a few things and to keep those fresh vegetables coming during those winter months. So that's what we're going to do. Collard greens down low and tomatoes up high. I'll have to see how many I have available up here as far as spaces. And then we will go pull those plants out of that seed starting station right now. So the first thing I need to do is figure out how many spaces I have. I only have one space in the top tier. So we got one tomato plant. I don't have any spaces in that one. Okay. We'll see what happens. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, I don't think that's going to make it, but we'll see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, y'all, let's go get those plants. Okay, y'all, we are over here and we're going to have to see what plants we have available. And it looks like none of my champion made it. So my only option for collard greens are the Georgia collard greens. Those champion collard greens, which by the way are my favorite, may have made it if I had paid closer attention, but I didn't. So here we are. This is where we are. I'm going to take all of these collard greens out, all of them. I'm trying to be careful and not pull them all the way out like that, but I did. But they still have roots on them. They should survive. I was trying to get the whole plug. There we go. See, that's how you're supposed to pull it out. And you see how the roots are wrapped around that plug right there? That's nice, but a little bit more, it would have been root bound. This is actually perfection right here. It's not root bound. So those are my collard greens, and we will make them fit into those 4 spots or so. Now, which one of these plants do we want? Do we want the tiny Tims, the orange hat, or this yellow tomato? How about I go with both? Can I not do that? I got a whole pocket so we can put, and they're small, y'all. These are micro dwarf tomatoes. Micro dwarf. They don't get big. So guess what, y'all? I'm going to do an orange hat and this yellow tomato. So I'm going to have 1 orange and 1 yellow tomato. That's what we're going with. Now, I do have tiny Tims in here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't want to mess up. That's orange hat. Okay, y'all. Are we going to remember this? Orange hat. And then the yellow tomato. Orange hat. All right. The orange hat is taller. Is that how we're going to remember it? Okay. That's what we're pulling out of here today. But y'all, I have a whole nother GreenStalk to set up. When I set up that other GreenStalk, I'm going to be putting all this lettuce and all kinds of other goodness in it. So y'all don't fret. I got a place to put all this lettuce. We just not working on that today. So let's get our little seedlings over. It's not much, y'all, but it's more than I had. That's how we think about it, right? It's more than I had. I mean, a pack of seeds. Let's look. So these Georgia collard greens right here, there are about 250 seeds in this pack. And I think I got this pack for $2 or $3 or something like that. I don't remember, but MI Gardener seeds are super, affordable. So I could have 250 collard greens for just a couple of bucks. So as I said, it's more than I started with, and y'all, it's no great loss if something doesn't take. You just plant some more seeds. Now let's go over there and get these seeds planted up. Okay, y'all, we are over here and we got our empty pockets here, and we are going to use our mycos. Anytime I am starting transplants, I like to use mycos. It helps the roots of your transplants really become one with your soil. There's all kinds of mycorrhizals and all of that micro goodness in here. And we're going to put some in each of the pockets where we're going to be adding transplants. And I'm trying to make sure you have a good view. We're going to try to put 3 plants in each pocket. 1, 2, and 3. That's our plan. I'm going to just poke a little hole. 1, 2, and 3. And y'all, I could do this from seeds. I don't need transplants to do this. You can start collard greens from seeds, but I'm hoping the transplants will give me a jump and I can have fresh collard greens faster. Now, y'all, I got all kinds of canned collard greens and frozen collard greens and mustard greens and turnip greens and kale and all of that good stuff. But y'all, like I said, there is nothing like fresh vegetables. So when I plant this young seedling here that's falling apart, I am going to plant it all the way up to the top of the soil. And if this was root bound at the bottom, you give it a little massage like that. You break up the roots and it's going to be happy all over again. All right, that's one, two, and y'all, some of these are, they looking kind of rough. That's looking really, really rough. But let's see if we can get it to grow. You know, almost 35 years ago, y'all. Almost 35 years ago, I told my mother, I'm like, I'm going to make all your house plants grow. And I went off and I started fertilizing all our house plants and I killed every last one of them. So I didn't think I was ever going to be the type person who could grow anything until I found gardening. And once I found gardening, y'all, that was a game changer. My mental health is better. My physical health is better. And y'all, I'm just better for it. Honestly, better for it. All right, let's try to put 3 in this one as well. If you like your collard greens to get super big, I don't. I like to pick mine when they're smaller, younger, and tender. But if you like them to get super big, you might not want to put 3 collard greens to a pocket. You might want to stick to 1 or 2 at the most. Okay, let's put you in there. I didn't bring much soil with you, but there you go. And y'all know every week I am going to come back and I am going to give you updates on how everything's doing. So that's the fun part. Once a week coming back and just see how everything's taken off. At least I consider that the fun part. So I am separating this one that was root bound. And you can separate them. Just take your time and just slowly pull them apart. See that? And these are still happy. They still have their roots. And if they didn't, then you just put that one to the side and don't use it. And use the ones that have roots. There you go. That's 2 pockets. And I don't think this one's going to make it. It doesn't look like it's going to make it. So on either side of this one, we're going to put 1 just in case. And if it makes it, that's okay. We'll be having collard greens before we'll be having peppers. Mycos can touch the root. You don't have to mix in mycos. I usually talk about don't put fertilizer directly on your plants. When we're talking mycos, it's okay. It can touch the plant or the root system, I should say. And I have 2 left. And since I only have 2 left, y'all, it is what it is. They both going in here. And gardening's not hard, y'all. Just take your time and I like to use what I call common sense, right? And then experiment. The best way to learn is to fail. If you never fail, you don't know if there's a better way to doing something or not. Got to break status quo, y'all. All right, this pocket, it don't look happy. I'm gonna have to find some soil to add to that pocket. I'll be right. Oh, I'll just use this soil. That's not enough. Let me get some more. All right, I got our little bit of soil here, and I don't need much, but it was a little low. That pocket was. I had added soil to all of these pockets already. Oh, yes. And I already added granular fertilizer. That's why we didn't put granular fertilizer in any of these pockets. Now we're going to work our way up to the 1 pocket that we have for tomatoes. I'm hoping you can see me better now. All right, I only got 1 pocket that I can put tomatoes in. I have 2 different types of tomatoes that we're going to put in this pocket. I am still going to use my mycos, and we are going to plant the tomatoes deep. Tomatoes are not like the greens that I just planted. For the tomatoes, we're not going to plant them back to the soil level. We're going to plant at least 2/3 of that tomato in this pocket. And we are going to plant 2 tomatoes in this pocket. And this soil is quite dry. So we're going to have to water this in really, really well. All right, the little one was, right? The little one was the yellow tomato. And y'all, they're already trying to get blooms on them. So that's pretty cool. And then the taller one was orange hat. And I put both of them in this one pocket because they are micro dwarf tomatoes. So we have everything in here. Anytime you transplant in, if you do it the right way, you should also water them in, right? Because you just stressed your plant out. You took it from its happy place and you put it somewhere else. And so it's got to learn to be happy again. So that's why it's important that you water in anything you transplant. And yes, y'all seen me do, and you've seen where I didn't do this step, but y'all, that doesn't mean it was right. The right thing to do is to water it in. And honestly, this whole GreenStalk needs to be watered, but I'm going to add extra water just to the pockets where I transplanted first. Let me go get some more water. Okay, so let's go ahead and water her all the way in. This is a 1-gallon pitcher. I probably will use the whole pitcher, but we are going to do this very slowly because the one thing we don't want is too much water coming out the bottom. And y'all, when I first put my peppers in here, so my overwintered peppers, they had been 2 to 3 weeks with no water, no sunlight, no love whatsoever, just thrown back in my grow room. And I'm starting to see the plants starting to green up. I'm seeing blooms coming back, y'all. So the next time y'all see this plant, y'all, it may be completely green, full, and ready to go. Now we're overwintering and we are growing as well, right? We want to reap the rewards of these peppers this winter. We don't want to just keep them alive, y'all. We want them to thrive. So let's add a little bit more in here. So that's 1 whole gallon that I put into the GreenStalk. But y'all, this GreenStalk is ready. It's ready. It is fully planted out. Peppers, tomatoes, and collard greens growing indoors in my indoor grow space. If you enjoy the video, please consider subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications, and telling everybody about Kim's Cozy Corner because we are indoors right now growing all winter long and you can do it too. So until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out with me at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.